Welcome to the Voices of the Goddess podcast. We believe that there is a goddess inside each and every one of us. When we use our voice to share that goddess, we support and uplift each other. Join us each week as we interview women to receive the message of their goddess within. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Voices of the Goddess podcast, where we empower, inspire, and uplift women to be the goddesses they were meant to be. I'm your co-host, Julietta, the magical PT, coming to you from kind of sunny Fort Lauderdale. And I am the owner of a physical therapy practice called Body and Soul PT, where I do my magic every day, helping people find balance in their body so that they can be pain-free and do the things that they love and want to do. I'm also a jeweler. I make malas and crystal pendants. I love working with stones, crystals, and all kinds of stones that just have healing energy that help bring, it's a gift from Mother Earth to bring balance to our bodies. And I'm an artist. I do some painting. I've written a chapter in a book that's an international bestseller. And for the past year almost year and a quarter, maybe, I've been a podcast host.
Yeah.
And today, my usual co-host, Allison, had some stuff come up. And so we brought on Jess, our producer, to be my co-host today. So welcome, Jess. Thank you so much for stepping up. Will you please introduce yourself to our audience? Most of them know who you are, but
yes.
fill them in again.
I hope they know me. I've been producing this whole time backstage.
Yes.
I have been a guest twice.
Yes.
Thank you for inviting me. This is really fun. Get some practice in doing this. It's good. Public speaking is like the biggest, hardest thing for people to do. And I'm a little nervous, but I'm okay.
You got it.
I also want to say, before I go into my bio, you're a powerful woman. You're a powerful goddess. That list, that slash, I do a lot of things. That's cool. That's what we have to do these days. I'm doing that myself, these days myself. So first and foremost, I am the Voices of the Goddess producer. I love doing this. I edit the podcasts and some of the videos and the show notes and all that. And I do all the behind the scenes things. So I try to get a lot of my friends to be guests, and some of them are a little shy, but I do the work that needs to get done. So I really enjoy doing that a lot. This has been a really great adventure with you. This is my first one, so it's been going well. How lucky, the first one, and we all were kind of newbies together and just making it happen, and look how wonderful it is.
Yeah.
So that's my one. And then there's a slash, and I also currently am the festival manager for Outshine LGBTQ Film Fest, our big, awesome event. It's coming up April 22nd through May 1st, mostly in Miami Beach. And I'll put that in the show notes. I'll put the information, the links there. It's promising to be very cool. Lots of really great queer films. So if you're into that, check that out. It's been really cool. It's a first time for me to be working in that industry. It's very fun. It's really great. And I got to reconnect with a lot of the queer South Florida community that I used to know more so back in the day, but I took a little break. I went to UM, got my master's, and now I'm back in, and it's nice to be amongst my community again. The other slash is that I do edit my own videos and I post them onto YouTube, but they haven't been aired yet because there's a plan, so keep out for that. It will be happening soon, mostly based on just me, my life, and adventure travel. And also another slash, I'm a muralist. I love to paint murals. I've only done 2, but I have experience with paintings and drawings my whole life. And now I'm making that into a business. And you can check us out on Instagram at Outside the Lines Murals. And maybe I can do a mural for you. Let me know. And that's good for me.
All right. Well, before we start talking, we have an amazing sponsor for this month, and it is Jewel Toned Interiors. They are an award-winning, women-owned interior design company located in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Fort Lauderdale Magazine named Jewel Toned Interiors the #1 interior designer in town. They transform lives by the creation of experiential interiors for all people. It's what drives them to produce environments that truly reflect the unique personality of each and every client they have the pleasure to work with. Imagine how a strategic work environment can positively impact your bottom line. It's proven to increase employee productivity and morale while making a lasting impression on customers and new hires. The jewel-toned interior gems, as they call themselves, come from a variety of backgrounds with experiences in many industries, from restaurants and retail to offices and multifamily housing. They are proud to be trusted with something as important as your vision, so let them bring it to life for you. It all starts with an idea, so let them help you consider the possibilities today. Discover more about Jewel Toned Interiors and what they are capable of at jeweltonedinteriors.com. And you can find their information in the show notes. And these women do really amazing, beautiful work. So if you're looking for an interior designer, I can't recommend them enough.
And thank you very much, Jewel Toned Interiors. I really appreciate it.
Awesome. So what's on your mind today, Jess?
So it's still Women's History Month. And it's a new season for me, as in I just got this new job at Outshine and I'm jumping back into my LGBTQ community. So I guess wanted to share about like how important it is that there's a representation of women, and including queer women, lesbians, people, all the categories that fall, into the community. And it's a really appropriate, and I'm super happy for our guest who's coming up because she's a rock star. She's been South Florida her whole life. She's a native, and we'll get into that. But just in general, I can't stress enough of like how important it is to recognize women, celebrate them, support them, because for whatever reason, we live in this crazy world where there is inequality. And so I am happy that there is a specific month for women, but for sure there should be equality for everybody all the time, right? So just wanted to, I guess, share that, and I'm happy to have brought my friend, our guest coming up, to be a part of the show, because women kick ass. That's why we're here. That's what this podcast is for. Women are goddesses, and we kick ass. And
Absolutely.
You will feel our our wrath. I don't know.
And here's the thing too, is I speak to this a lot, how historically women have fought their way to get equal rights through the masculine energy that's out there, and masculine energy can be beautiful and divine and sacred, but the energy that's gotten us to where we are today is really a harsh, negative masculine energy. And, so the women were using that same energy to try and fight their way to the top. And I think the important thing is that we all connect to that sacred feminine energy, and which is a much more gentle power. And I thought about that. I just recently made an elephant mala, and looking at the symbolism of the elephant, and it's very feminine and it's extremely powerful, but there's a gentleness behind that. And so knowing that we can be gentle and powerful at the same time.
I like that. Thank you for bringing that up, because I only have just started reading and learning about energies, and then the masculine and feminine sides of them that complement each other. And yeah, I guess some things have been working, but a lot of things are not in general in humanity. And I think you have a point there that we do, I think, in my opinion, especially because this is just how I'm oriented, is to just be a little more sensitive and empathetic and gentle.
Yeah.
That's just how I was born.
The masculine and feminine it doesn't have anything really to do with male and female as a gender. It's an energy.
We should note that some people would think that, but I agree from what I'm learning. Yes, I can see that.
It's just the energies, and we possess both of them inside of us. And
yes,
life is beautiful when they're in balance, and things got out of balance. And so, for women to get their equality, and for everyone to get their equality, for everyone, we need to have everyone. We need to create balance in that. And so as women, we tend to have more of the feminine energy. And so we get to be part of creating this balance by lifting up the feminine energy and creating balance in the world out there. That makes
Before sense. we jump into the next part, I want to ask, because you probably have knowledge on this. And actually, I was talking to my friend from middle school who was a guest of ours, Tracy Soto, who is one of like the spiritual gurus, who has a bunch of slashes too. So just in general, like a spiritual guru. She just started a podcast. She said that we helped push her to the edge to do one because she had been thinking about it. And she was saying that certain energies, the masculine and feminine, can also be present on sides of your body, because I just realized that mostly my right side of my body, it's usually I have pain in the right side of my neck or right shoulder or right hip or right knee or foot, even in my teeth. I grind on the right hand side. I wear a thing now when I sleep, but it's mostly affected my right side. So I know how I behave, and I definitely use a lot of my masculine to get through life. And my journey is now figuring how to balance masculine and feminine. But I wonder if you've also heard the same, if there's a school of thought on that.
Absolutely. So our right side is known as our masculine side, and the left side is our feminine side. And so, yes, when you have all of your issues on one side, that's telling us there's an imbalance.
I gotta work it out. Yeah. And I think I just talked to her about it a week ago or a week and a half ago. I'm like, oh my gosh, the right side of my body is dying. Just a little, just out of place, out of shape. So
cool. And it may be, you can look at it because you just said it's dying, and it can go either way. It can be you're overusing it or you're underusing it. But either way, it's out of balance. So it's about bringing balance back to your life.
Right. Yeah. So I get to do that.
Yeah.
Should
we bring our guest on?
Yes, let's do it.
All right. Give me 1 second there. Hello, Cindy. Welcome to Voices of the Goddess.
Thank you. I'm listening to this conversation. I'm glad to be here. And, of course, I've known Jess for a while, and Julieta. It's a pleasure to meet you and be on your show. And I'm listening to you talk about, the masculine side and the feminine side. And I'm perplexed because I had breast cancer and shingles, and everything was on my left side. So,
whoa,
I don't know what that says.
What does that mean? Wow.
I don't know. I like to say that my boobs tried to kill me, so I got rid of them, But, I don't know where that fits in, but.
And again, it's always about finding balance, you know? So, but would you please introduce yourself to our audience? Tell them a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Cindy Brown, which you already know. I'm a native Floridian. I've been in Miami since I was 2, but I was born in St. Petersburg. And, I've been here my whole life. I'm the only one of my family left in South Florida. I love the flavors, the diversity, the different kinds of music and people and the cultures. That's what I love about this. And, I have said on many occasions that I consider myself a professional lesbian. Not that I get paid to be a lesbian, but that I have been working in the LGBTQ plus field for decades, whether it is, my profession, my job, whether it's a board position, volunteer positions. I've been around for a while. And currently, I am working for Jewish Community Services, running a program called Lambda Living for LGBT Seniors. of which I am one now. You know, I go through the whole gamut. You know, I've also done several other significant things in the LGBT community. I was the founding executive director of the current iteration of Miami Beach Pride, which is happening on April 9th and 10th. So, you know, for the first 3 years, I was the executive director. And because it was a brand new event at the time, I know it's hard to believe, South Florida, Miami did not have a Pride event for many, many years because we were fighting a political fight, which we ultimately won. I can talk a little bit more about that. But, you know, when the decision was made, oh, let's do a Pride in Miami. And, you know, I'm extremely grateful that I was the one tapped to actually make it happen. And I did. And now, you know, I'm happy to say that it is one of the, you know, a handful of the best Pride events in the country.
What year was that when you founded it?
2009.
Incredible.
Yeah, and
Incredible.
the last time before that we had a Pride was 11 years, and it was right. I remember it took place not too long after Matthew Shepard was beaten and tied up to that fence. And
right.
At the time, Miami was going through a big political fight, trying to get a human rights ordinance passed. And I should correct myself. Not Miami is a city. Miami-Dade County was working on passing a human rights ordinance, and I was on the board of Save Dade at the time who was working on it. And so all the time between, I believe it was 1997 and 2009, we were fighting for our rights. And then we got them, and then we had to defend them because they wanted to repeal the ordinance. So there was a lot of political stuff going on, and but Pride is back and everybody loves it. I've got a lot of slashes like Jess does, and sometimes I just get exhausted when I think about it. I am a founder of the Aqua Foundation for Women, which is an organization that supports LGBT women with scholarships and other support services. I'm trying to think of everything that I've done. I can't remember it all. I was the executive director for the Miami Beach Botanical Garden for a while. I was the director of the Miami-Dade Gay and Lesbian Chamber Foundation, and I ran the LGBT Visitor Center there. Oh, I could just go on and on, but I'll leave it at that.
We got another rock star.
So we need to dive into our questions, or we're going to run out of time.
Okay, question time right now.
Let's do it.
So our first question, Cindy, is what is one book that you wish every goddess would read, and why?
Well, the book that I'm going to mention is written by a man, but I think that everybody should read it. It's called The 4 Agreements. And, if everybody read that book and everybody operated just with those 4 things, I think the world would be a much gentler place. I think it would be a safer place. And I think it would be a more authentic place. But yes, The 4 Agreements, I think, is a must read for everybody.
We love that book on the show. And we have a Facebook group called Circle of Goddesses where we do a book club every month. And we've done The 4 Agreements as one of our book club books. And this month, the month of March, we're actually doing one of his other books, The Mastery of Love.
Mm-hmm. Also a very good book.
We are totally behind you on that book.
Yeah.
It was just a struggle because it's not written by a woman, but it's written by a man who channels his sacred feminine very well.
Yeah, and it's all about balance. And we have nothing against men in the show. We love men, and books can be
Oh, I
written
have
by
nothing against men either, but I always try and uplift women when I can. But yeah, the 4 agreements, that's it.
I
awesome.
want to ask, what's maybe an experience you've had with one of those agreements, or maybe a fun anecdote, or maybe one you have difficulty with, you support with. Which one calls out
Well,
to you the most?
I think that the hardest thing for me, and people who know me peripherally don't get this. People who know me well absolutely get this. I'm a very sensitive and emotional person. And most people perceive me as being really tough and, you know, the wrath of Cindy, as you mentioned, but there's really not much wrath here, you know. And, you know, the whole idea of not taking things personally and being able to separate, you know, the intention from the way I choose to receive it, because really it is the way I choose to receive something. And, I think that it's always a challenge for me, but um, that is, I mean, that's one of the ones that I think would do everybody good to really focus on. And, can you really master these 100% of the time? Probably not. But the idea is that when you aren't mastering it, or when you feel like that you're not living according to one of the agreements or all of the agreements, you can forgive yourself and come back to it, because we are human. And
Sure.
but just knowing them and understanding them and trying to be those agreements, um, I think that that's significant.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Agree. Good selection.
All right, Cindy, our second question is, what is your favorite self-care practice and how does that support you?
Well, I could say sitting on the couch watching TV,
Yes.
but really, being around people that are supportive of me, that is really, and during COVID, it's a challenge because everybody was separate. And, there were a couple of my friend groups that created regular Zoom meetings. So we would have regular Zoom meetings, just a happy hour. We'd all have our cocktail and just, catch up so that we would maintain that connectivity. And I think that, if I'm ever challenged with something, or I'm feeling some kind of way that I don't want to be feeling, I am lucky that I have a very vast support system, people that love me, that, I could call them at any hour of the day or night and they would pick up. So, that it brings me peace. But ultimately, the thing that we all should be doing more of is exercise, because when you're exercising, the endorphins kick in,
Mm-hmm.
and then if you exercise and you come home and you see your puppy wagging their tail, I mean, how can you feel sad, after that? But,
So true.
so those are some of the things that I would do.
And I really love that you bring up, surrounding yourself with people that you love and that love you, because how many, I don't do this anymore, but in the past, like having people around you that you didn't really resonate with, just to have people around you. And it doesn't support you to be carrying that baggage. So weed out the people that don't work and just connect yourself with those that are part of your tribe.
Absolutely. And the older you get, the less willing you are to accept that.
Exactly.
I'm 60 years old. I don't do the things now that I did when I was 40. I don't put up with them. And if it comes to that, I'll just walk away from a situation. I mean, I'm not like a fighter, although when it comes to something like rights, I am a fighter. But if it's something stupid and it's a, you know, dumb thing over Facebook, it's like, you know what?
Let
Unfriend.
it go.
You know, I don't even know who you are, and you're commenting on my post being negative. So goodbye. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
and I think
definitely.
Facebook and those and all the social media has really, done a lot of damage to people because horrible people are allowed to do things anonymously, and they oftentimes can have a serious, real um, impact. So, yeah,
Yeah,
get them out.
yeah.
All right. Our third question, Cindy, because
Hmm.
we all have those days where it's just really difficult to show up and do what we need to do. So when you're
Hmm.
having one of those days, what is the tool that you pull out of your back pocket to be able to make things happen?
Well, she really doesn't fit in my back pocket, but my the best dog in the world, you
Oh,
know, any, you, you know, I'm so grateful to be able to have her because I have used her on a number of occasions to kind of cheer myself up. I get the unconditional love from her. But, basically, I just get up and do it. I mean, I
You
suppose if I
face
wake
it.
up on a Saturday morning and I'm like, I'll stay in bed. But, I get up. I don't want to get up. I'm tired. I want to stay in bed, but I get up anyway. I get up, I
Mm,
get in the shower and get dressed and go to work. So, um, that's just the way it is. And then when I get to
so
work, I'm in doing my work, which is gratifying. And, um, I believe that the work that I do is making a difference in many people's lives. So that also helps me, uh, helps me get up and do it because I know there's somebody over there that if I don't get up and do it, they're going to suffer. So, that's the
right.
other side of it.
It sounds like the tool could be discipline and also um, just like a protectiveness for those less than who need support and making sure that they have whatever they need. Some people out
Hmm.
there have very little, so yeah, the work you might do today really does affect them 24 hours later,
Hmm.
right?
Exactly. And beyond, you know.
for sure. And
Cool.
I
Yeah.
think it's having work that you enjoy, that you're passionate about.
Hmm.
I feel so blessed that I um, straight away found a career that just fills my soul and I love. But I know so many people that just
Hmm.
go to a
Oh,
job for a
yeah.
paycheck, and oh, I can't imagine doing that. That has to be so difficult. So
Yeah, and I've worked for nonprofit organizations for ever, and knowing that I'm never going to get rich, but I benefit in other ways. I'll never
richness
make a
isn't always
six-figure salary
monetary.
doing what I do.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
there are other
Both.
benefits that I
Yeah,
get.
exactly. Yeah, money isn't everything. That's true. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Our next question
Okay.
is, and yes, everything that we do forms who we are, but we all tend to have some of those standout moments in our life that really shaped who we are today. What experiences
Hmm.
what's one experience that has greatly shaped who you are today?
Well, um, a long time ago, sometime in the 90s, early 90s, I went to New York for, I think it was for the Pride March or something. There, and I was able to get a sign from NOW, the National Organization of Women. So I had that. And, I had back then, it was the thing, the leather necklace with the rainbow color beads hanging on it. And, I had come from a Pride event. So I was decked out in my Pride regalia. And I was on the way home, so I was in the airport, JFK Airport in New York. I was in the food court, minded my own business, probably eating a Big Mac or something I shouldn't be eating, right? And all of a sudden I looked up and I was literally surrounded by people from Westboro Baptist Church. And if you're not familiar with them, it's a church in Kansas that what they do is they send groups of people out to protest gay pride events, military funerals,
Gay funerals. They're
anything they can think
considered
of.
the worst of the worst.
Yeah,
and in the gay community, that's the worst.
Their modus operandi, and they also do it at the funerals of military people, which is, people going to fight the country. And that's nothing
Non-gay.
to do with LGBT.
Yeah.
So it's like across the board. And they will carry signs like "You're going to hell." Their website is actually called godhatesfags.com. So here I am by myself in JFK Airport. And this is the 90s. So this is a while ago. This was before I was the person I am today. And all of a sudden, they started saying things to me like, "You're disgusting. You're a disgrace to women everywhere. You shouldn't be here." I mean, just all these negative things to me. And I was mortified and terrified. And all I could think of was, oh my God, these people better not be on the same airplane that I am. They were in the gate next door. So I was really, I was like, I told you I'm very sensitive and emotional. So that I was like not well with that. And, at that moment, I knew what so many other people have felt on so many different occasions when people looked at someone and made judgments because of what they thought they saw. And, and as a result, not only am I very passionate about LGBTQIA rights, but I'm also passionate about everybody's rights. And, no human being should be subjected to something like that. And that was one instance that happened in my life. I was in my 30s. And all I could think of was the people who every single day of their lives experienced what I experienced that one time. So, I make it my business or my passion or whatever, my vocation to call things out when I see them, and whether it affects me or not. It's something that viscerally I just can't, and I'll be the person that says something.
Well,
but,
so happy that you took that moment and used it to empower you.
Mm-hmm.
And, because lots of other people would take that and it would, bring them down. And
it took me a while to turn it into empowerment, because that incident disturbed me for a very long time. And again, people experience it every single day. What's my right to take that one time and have it disturb me for so long? But it did bring an awareness to me, and it brought me, it's definitely been a factor in who I am today. Definitely.
Thank you so much for sharing that. The tough story. It's tough to hear, especially as a queer person. So I'm sorry you went through that. And also thank you for sharing. And I'm glad it ended up being what it is your history of your life is advocacy for those who need it. Mm-hmm. So thank you.
All right. Our final question for you, Cindy, is what is one thing you would like our audience to take away from this show today?
Well, I would say, and if you have regular listeners, they probably are already aware of what's going on around them. But I would say, always pay attention. Always pay attention to what is around you and who is around you. And whenever you're in a situation where you can offer someone assistance who authentically needs assistance, do it. I believe in karma. The homeless guy in dirty clothes who's on the street, people walk past him all day. Stop and say, "Hey, how you doing today?" I don't have any in my car now, but I make these big Ziploc bags that have a toothbrush, some toothpaste, breath mints, a snack, hand wipes, bottle of water, whatever different kinds of things. And, I hand them out to folks because nobody thinks of that, even maybe little tissues because, sometimes homeless people don't have any place to go to the bathroom, and you have to provide, it's a sad commentary, but how many stores and restaurants do you know that would allow a homeless person to just come in and use the restroom without buying anything?
Yeah.
And there are no, public restrooms in most places. There aren't. You could go to a mall, you'll find them. On the beach, you'll find them. But if you're walking down Lincoln Road on Miami Beach, you're not going to find a public bathroom. So, just, if you see somebody, offer them aid. If they don't need it, they'll tell you. But if they do need it, you could make a world of difference for a human being.
Thank you, Cindy.
Thank you.
So we are way over time, and it's all
That was so good.
Oops.
So good though. It was worth it.
It happens.
It happened.
I want to thank you so much for joining us today, Cindy, and sharing your story with us.
Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure having you on. We want to thank our sponsor, Dual Toned Interiors, for sponsoring this show. I want to thank Jess for stepping up and being my co-host today. And, if you want to get in touch with Cindy, Jess, or myself, check the show notes. You'll find all the information there you need to get in contact with us. And, I think that's a wrap. And I want to wish everybody out there a magical day.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you,
Bye,
everybody.
everyone. Thank you. It's my pleasure.